Hello everyone. Welcome to Kwiation Engineering YouTube channel. All right, so today is the sixth lesson regarding 8821 air conditioning system. All right, so if you still not watch my previous videos regarding 88 chapter 21 air conditioning, please go and check these videos. So I will put the links in my description and also in this playlist. You can check out this card and then you can go to the playlist and you can watch from the beginning. So and also I want to tell, please subscribe my channel and don't forget to like, comment and share this video with your friends, so because this will be useful. All right, so no need to talk a lot, so we will go to the lesson. All right, so today I'm going to teach about 88 chapter 21 air conditioning system, zone temperature control system, lesson number 6. All right, so in this lesson I'm going to discuss about pack sensors description and the operation. All right, okay, so the first one is pack inlet pressure sensor. Pack inlet pressure sensor. All right, so you can see here is the sensor, right? So this is the air conditioning system. All right, so this is the flow control valve. So the previous lesson I teach you and I teach you in detail what are the function of this valve, like flow control valve, and what are the function of anti-ice valve, bypass valve, water extractor, condenser, reheater. So if you miss these lessons, please go and watch this lesson, then you will get a good idea. All right, so this is the now today I'm going to teach about the sensors, right? So keep in mind, so this is the pack inlet pressure sensor, right? So the pack inlet pressure sensor signals the pack inlet pressure drop to the primary computer of the pack controller. Remember, this pack inlet pressure sensor signals the pack inlet pressure drop to the primary computer of the pack control. This is the pack controller, so this is the primary controller. This signal will go to the primary computer. All right, so it is used to determine the appropriate bypass valve position. All right, so this is used to determine the appropriate bypass valve position. So this is the bypass valve, right? So when the pack inlet pressure is low, right? So when the pack inlet pressure is low, the bypass valve is controlled to more open position in order to decrease the differential pressure of the air conditioning pack. All right, okay. So you can see the live V, right? So this is the pack inlet pressure sensor. Here you can see pack inlet pressure sensor, right? So at the same time, the ram air inlet flap is controlled to more open position to compensate for the decreased efficiency of the turbine compressor cycles, right? So about this this informations I teach you in the previous lesson. I remember it's about lesson number 5 or lesson number 6, right? And also, when engines are idle, if the cooling demand cannot be satisfied, the engine idle settings can be changed by thrust demand. Just keep in mind. The zone controller sends these thrust demands to the engine interface units depending on the bleed air pressure detected by the sensor. All right. Okay, now let's go to the flow sensor, right? So the flow sensor is situated in here, right? So here is the flow control valve, here is the flow sensor, right? So the flow sensor measures differential pressure at the flow control valve, right? So the flow sensor measuring the differential pressure at the flow control valve, remember, right? So the delta pressure, so differential pressure means they are taking the delta pressure, which is equivalent to the airflow, is converted into an electrical signal and sent to the secondary computer of the pack control, right? So they are taking the delta pressure and then it will convert into electrical signal and then it will send to the secondary computer, right, in the pack controller. So it is used for the ECAM display and flow control valve, right? So these signals will be used for displaying the ECAM display and also for the flow control valve. All right, so now the next one is the compressor temperature sensor. Compressor temperature sensor. So the compressor temperature sensor is situated here, right? So here is the compressor. You can see this is the compressor temperature sensor, right? The compressor temperature sensor signals compressor outlet temperature to the primary computer of the pack controller for pack temperature control and overheat detection, right? So temperature compressor sensor signals the pack outlet temperature, right? So here you can see the pack outlet air is going, right? So the air is coming from here, is go to the primary computer and goes to the compressor, and then it's go to the here main heat exchanger. So this is the pack outlet, right? So compressor temperature sensor signals compressor outlet temperature to the, it goes to the where primary computer, right? Primary computer of the pack controller for temperature control, right? For the temperature control and also for overheat detection, right? So remember, the pack 4 light, see the pack 4 light, it comes on in case of pack overheat at 260 Celsius or equal to 500 Fahrenheit, or if 230 Celsius or 446 Fahrenheit is detected 4 times during one flight, right? So you remember, pack overheat 4 lights will come on in case of the pack is overheat at 260 Celsius, or if 230 Celsius is detected 4 times during one flight, right? So you remember, right? This is a pack overheat. Here is the live view. See compressor outlet overheat temperature sensor, right? So you can see compressor outlet overheat temperature sensor, right? So the pack temperature control, for the pack temperature control up to 180 Celsius or 385 Fahrenheit, this is normal operation, right? It means up to 180 Celsius, it is making as a normal, operating as a normal operation. And 180 Celsius to 220 Celsius, the ram air inlet flap open more in order to increase the ram air flow. Remember, after 180 Celsius and between 180 Celsius to 220 Celsius, the ram air inlet flap, right? So here is the ram air inlet flap. So I teach you the previous lesson what is the purpose, right? So here's the ram air inlet flap open more in order to increase the ram air flow, right? Okay, so now let's go to the compressor pneumatic overheat sensor. Compressor pneumatic overheat sensor, right? So that compressor pneumatic overheat sensor is there, right? Compressor pneumatic overheat sensor is there, right? So here is the live view, right? So you can see the compressor outlet overheat sensor, pneumatic sensor. So in case of overheat, the compressor pneumatic overheat sensor causes venting of the flow control valve muscle pressure in order to close the valve, right? So it's used to close the flow control valve by using the muscle pressure. So in case of compressor outlet overheat, the flow control valve start to close 230 Celsius or 446 Fahrenheit in order to avoid reaching 260 Celsius or 500 Fahrenheit. So 260 Celsius is the temperature threshold for the warning activation. All right. Okay, so now let's go to the compressor overheat sensor. Now compressor overheat, before I teach you about compressor pneumatic overheat sensor, now compressor overheat sensor, right? Here is the compressor overheat sensor. So you can see the live view compressor outlet overheat temperature sensor, right? So the compressor overheat sensor signals the compressor outlet temperature to the secondary computer of the pack control. So this signal will goes to the secondary computer of the pack controller for overheat detection and indication of the CAN display. So the pack 4 lights, so here the pack 4 lights comes on in case of pack overheat of more than 260 Celsius or 500 Fahrenheit, or if 230 Celsius or 446 Fahrenheit is detected 4 times during one flight. Okay, just remember. Okay, now let's go to the water extractor temperature sensor. Water extractor temperature sensor. Here is the water extractor temperature sensor. The water, here you can see the live view. Here is situated in the, here is the pack sensors, water extractor temperature sensor over there, right? So the water extractor temperature sensor signals the water extractor temperature for the pack outlet temperature control. All right. So the water extractor temperature sensor consists of 2 thermistors. Remember, water extractor temperature sensor consists of 2 thermistors, one connected to the primary computer and the other to the secondary computer. One is connected to the primary and other one connected to the secondary computer. They are used to modulate the pack outlet temperature, right? Okay. So now let's go to the pack outlet pneumatic sensor. Here is the pack outlet pneumatic sensor, right? Here is the pack outlet pneumatic sensor, and this I will go to the mixture unit, right? Pack outlet pneumatic sensor. The pack outlet temperature sensor adjusts the anti-ice valve muscle pressure. So this sensor will adjust the anti-ice valve muscle pressure to maintain the pack outlet temperature at a fixed value when the control of the bypass valve is lost. If the control of the bypass valve is lost, this will adjust anti-ice values thus by using muscle pressure according to the pack outlet pneumatic temperature sensor, right? So the pack outlet pneumatic sensor pneumatically control the anti-ice valve to maintain the pack outlet temperature at about 15 Celsius. All right, so this information I teach you before lessons, right? So you can check out these videos and you can learn about this information in detail, right? So you can see the live picture. Here is the pack outlet pneumatic sensor. Here, pack outlet pneumatic sensor, and here is the pack discharge sensor over there, back discharge sensor over there, right? And here is the water extractor temperature sensor. You can see water extractor temperature sensor, right? Okay, so now let's go to the pack outlet temperature sensor. Pack outlet temperature sensor. So the pack, here is the pack outlet temperature sensor. This is pack outlet pneumatic temperature sensor. This is pack outlet temperature sensor. The pack outlet temperature sensor signals the pack outlet temperature to the secondary computer of the pack controller for ECAM display. All right. Okay, so the pack outlet temperature sensor also provide pack overheat warning indications if the pack outlet temperature exceeds 95 Celsius, all right, or 203 Fahrenheit, right? You can see this is go to the secondary secondary computer in the pack controller, right? So you can see the same picture, right? So this is the water extractor temperature sensor, pack discharge sensor, pack outlet pneumatic sensor, all right? Okay. Yeah, so that is the end of this lesson. So today we learn about 8 sensors inside the air conditioning system or inside the pack. Okay, right? So thank you for participating in these lessons. I think you got a good knowledge about air conditioning system. Now this is the 6th lesson. So I think if someone follow this ATA chapter 21 air conditioning systems lesson from the beginning, I mean from the lesson 1, I'm sure now you will get a good idea about what is air conditioning system and what are the components over there and how is the procedure and how about the system work and what are the systems inside this system. And yeah, so this procedure you know well, right? So and remember this from the lesson 1 to lesson 6 we are discussed about zone temperature controlling in the air conditioning system, right? So we have more like pressurization. Okay, so we have more to go, right? So thank you for participating in this lesson again, and the next lesson I will going to cover the cockpit and cabin compartments in detail, right? So I mean cockpit and cabin compartment, like you know the operations and the things inside the cockpit and cabin compartment. So I will going to teach you in detail. So if you still not subscribe my channel, please subscribe my channel, and don't forget to like this video if you like this video, and if you have any questions just comment below, and I will for every comment I will try to answer. And also I have a Facebook page also, like Aviation Engineering, so you can follow this Facebook page. And in Facebook you can send me personally messages if you have any questions regarding aircraft maintenance. So yeah, that's all for today, and we will meet on next lesson. Okay, thank you very much. Have a good day for all of you.